Women to watch at the Australian Open. Women to watch at the Australian Open, which begins Monday at Melbourne Park. SIMONA HALEP. Seeded, 1. Age, 26. Country, Romania. 2017 match record, 45-17. 2017 singles titles, 1. Career singles titles, 15. Major titles, 0. Best, French Open finalist, 17, 14. Last 5 Australian Opens, 17th first, 16th first, 15 QF, 14 QF, 13th first. Top spin, had never advanced beyond the quarter-finals at the Australian Open and, for the last 2 years, has lost in the first round. Last year, she was beaten by American Shelby Rogers while bothered by a sore knee. She was 4th seeded then but comes into this year's Australian Open with the number 1 ranking despite still having no Grand Slam singles titles. Had her equal best Grand Slam performance at last year's French Open, losing in the final to Jelena Ostapenko despite being a set in 3-0 up. She lost the 2014 final at Roland Garros to Maria Sharapova. Won last week's Shenzhen Open, beating Katerina Siniakova in the final, to ensure she'd remain the top-ranked player for the Australian Open. Caroline Wozniacki seeded, 2 age, 27 country, Denmark 2017 match record, 60-21 2017 singles titles, 2 career singles titles, 27 major titles, 0, best, US Open finalist 14-09. Last 5 Australian Opens, 17th third, 16th first, 15th second, 14th third, 13th fourth. Top spin, in 2011, made it to the semi-finals at Melbourne, losing to Lena. She lost in the quarter-finals the following year to Kim Clijsters, a defeat which cost Wozniacki her number 1 ranking. Held the top ranking at stages of 2010, 2011 and 2012, without having won a major. Is edging closer back to the number 1 spot, thanks in part to Serena Williams' long absence, but still hasn't won that elusive first Grand Slam singles title. Lost in the final of the ASB Classic to Julia Go-Urges in Auckland, New Zealand, last week before rising to number 2 in the rankings. Garbine Muguruza seeded, 3 age, 24 country, Spain 2017 match record, 47-21 2017 singles titles, 2 career singles titles, 5 major titles, 2, French Open, 16, Wimbledon, 17. Last 5 Australian Opens, 17 QF, 16th third, 15th fourth, 14th fourth, 13th second. Top spin, coming off one her best seasons, backing up her first major at the French Open in 2016. Beating Serena Williams, with a second major title at Wimbledon in 2017, beating Venus Williams in straight sets to become the first player to defeat both Williams sisters in major singles finals. Took over the number 1 ranking at the US Open despite losing in the 4th round, but held it for only 4 weeks. Forced to retire with cramping in her first match of the year at the Brisbane International. Accepted a wild card at the Sydney International but withdrew ahead of her quarter-final match with a right thigh injury. Elina Svitolina seeded, 4. Age, 23. Country, Ukraine 2017 match record, 50-13 2017 singles titles, 5 career singles titles, 10 major titles, 0, best, QF French Open, 17. 15 last 5 Australian Opens, 17th third, 16th second, 15th third, 14th third, 13th first. Top spin, had a breakout season last year, winning 5 tournaments and reaching a career-high number 3 ranking in September. Started off the new year in fine style with a win at the Brisbane International, ensuring she'd move up 2 ranking spots to take the 4th seed at the Australian Open. Had never had much success at Melbourne Park, losing in the 3rd round in 3 of her 5 past appearances. Venus Williams seeded, 5 age, 37 country, United States 2017 match record, 38-14 2017 singles titles, 0 career singles titles, 49 major titles, 7, Wimbledon, 00, 01, 05, 07, 08, US Open, 00, 01 last 5 Australian Opens, 17th, 16th first, 15 QF, 14th first, 13th third. Topspin, didn't win a tournament last year, but led the WTA in prize money and there was quality in some of her major defeats. Started off with a loss to her sister Serena in the Australian Open final, later lost in the Wimbledon title match to Garbine Muguruza, advanced to the semi-finals of the US Open, losing to eventual champion Sloane Stephens, then finished off the year with a loss in the WTA finals to Caroline Wozniacki. Started the year ranked number 17 and moved up to number 5 by the end. Lost her first match at the Sydney International, her only tune-up tournament. Carolina Pliskova seeded, 6 age, 25 country, Czech Republic 2017 match record, 53-18 2017 singles titles, 3 career singles titles, 9 major titles, 0, best, runner-up, US Open, 16 last 5 Australian Opens, 17 QF, 16th third, 15th third, 14th second, 13th first. Topspin, Pliskova rose to number 1 after Wimbledon despite a second-round loss there and no Grand Slam titles, holding the top ranking for 7 weeks. Led WTA Tour in aces for the third season with 452, 40 more than second-place Julia Go-Urges. Also set the mark for most aces in a single match, hitting 21 against Dominika Cibulkova en route to the Qatar Total Open title. Also led the WTA in service games won with 79.1%. "I don't remember practicing my serves for hours," she said. "So always if you're a little taller you have a chance to have a good serve." Lost to eventual champion Elina Svitolina in the Brisbane International semi-finals last week. Sloane Stephens seeded, 13. Age, 24. Country, United States. 2017 match record, 15-10. 2017 singles titles, 1. Career singles titles, 5. Major title, 1, US Open 17. Last 5 Australian Opens, 17 DNP, 16th first, 15th first, 14th fourth, 13 SF. Topspin, Stephens didn't play last year's Australian Open because of a left foot injury that kept her out of action until Wimbledon, where she lost in the first round. More than made up for it in her next slam, winning her first major title at the US Open, beating Madison Keys in an All-American final. Finished the year on a downward note, however, losing her last 6 matches, 4 at tournaments in China and twice in the Fed Cup final, where the US still beat Belarus 3-2. The new year didn't start any better when she dropped her first round match last week at the Sydney International in straight sets to Italian qualifier Camila Giorgi. Maria Sharapova unseeded. Age, 30. Country, Russia. 2017 match record, 16-5. 2017 singles titles, 1. Career singles titles, 36. Major titles, 5, Australian Open, 2008, French Open, 2012, 2014, Wimbledon, 2004, US Open, 2006. Last 5 Australian Opens, 17 DNP, 16 QF, 15 F, 14th fourth, 13 SF. Topspin, the 2008 champion and 3-time Australian Open runner-up makes her return to Melbourne Park after missing last year's event as part of a 15-month ban after a failed doping test here in 2016. Returned to Grand Slam tennis as a wildcard entry at the US Open, where she beat HALEP in the first round before a 4th-round exit. Finished 2017 at number 60 in the rankings. One of only 2 former Australian Open winners in the women's draw this year. Lost in the semi-finals of the Shenzhen Open to start off her new year. On Twitter, https://twitter.com/DennisPassa_more app tennis coverage, https://upnews.com/tag/eptennis